Tonight, the world outside has already closed beneath a soft veil of mist. The streets lie still. The hum of traffic has faded into silence, and the wind has grown gentle, as if tired after a long day. You walk slowly, each step quieter than the last, until you arrive before an old pinewood door. The door is not locked, only resting ajar, waiting like an old friend. From the small crack, a golden light spills out, smooth and steady like honey pouring into the bottom of a cup. You place your hand upon the wood. The grain is warm and steady, carrying the breath of the day. You inhale softly, then exhale slowly, and the door opens, welcoming you inside. Within lies another world, a world far removed from hurry or worry, a world that belongs only to the quiet hours of night. It is Mrs. Beeton's kitchen. An oil lamp glows above, casting a soft and tender circle of light, gentle as the face of the moon. On the walls hang ladles and pans and molds, darkened with age, yet patient and watchful, like guardians of memory. At the center rests a wide pine-wood table, its surface marked with scratches and lines left by countless seasons of kneading dough. And upon the table stands a white enamel teapot, 2 ivory cups, and a notebook bound with a faded blue ribbon, waiting silently, as if it had always been waiting for you. You breathe in, and the air greets you with layers of fragrance. The faint dust of flour drifting like mist, the sweet butter mingling with the soft scent of wood smoke from the fire, the delicate notes of thyme, rosemary, and bay leaf hanging in small bundles by the window. These fragrances circle around you like arms drawing a blanket, and they guide you gently toward the chair at the table. You sit down. The chair creaks softly, a small sound yet so familiar, like the gentle voice of welcome. You lean back. Your shoulders loosen. Your hands grow still. And in this moment, everything in the kitchen seems to breathe with you. The fire crackles, steady and patient, like the beat of a calm heart. The clock ticks, slow and even, tick, tock, like the rhythm of breath itself. Outside, the night wind drifts across the eaves, whispering like a shawl wrapping softly around you. You try one slow rhythm of your own. Inhale, drawing in the warmth, the fragrances, the safety of this place. Exhale, letting the weight of the day slip away into the darkness beyond the walls. Each breath is a step further from the noise of the world. Each breath is a step closer to the gentleness of sleep. You look around and you realize that everything in this kitchen seems alive in its own quiet way. The ladle sways ever so slightly, as if nodding hello. The jar of flour stands still, yet carries a sweetness that wants to tell the story of loaves long risen, and the notebook, bound with blue ribbon, trembles faintly, inviting you to open it, to hear the words of a woman who once lived kindly here, leaving behind one simple reminder written in soft hand: keep the fire low, keep the heart calm. You smile softly, a smile light as the passing wind, In this instant, you know you have stepped away from the long day behind you. There are no more tasks, no more noise, no more scattered thoughts. There is only you, and the kitchen, and the glow of the fire that cradles you. You place your hand on the table, tracing the rough wooden lines that ripple like quiet waves. This kitchen has been waiting for someone to come, to sit down, to breathe, and to listen. Here, you need do nothing. No effort, no hurry, not even the need to force sleep. Only breathe and drift. Inhale, exhale. The fire still crackles. The clock still ticks. The rain outside falls one soft drop at a time. And together, they weave themselves into a lullaby, endless and tender. And so, even now, you have already stepped into a story with no haste, no tension, no need for a quick end. A story that is gentle, that is long, that is still, like the night itself. And this story begins the moment you close your eyes. And let the kitchen carry you away through its fragrances, through its glow, through the tenderness of the smallest things. The pine door closes softly behind you with a sigh so low and steady, it feels like the last punctuation mark at the end of a long chapter, the chapter of your day. That gentle sound tells you the day is finished, and now, here, in this room, you may begin something entirely different. You are no longer walking among streets or voices. You are no longer carrying lists or worries. You are here, inside. And the pine door itself seems to breathe as though it has always known you would return. The scent of resin still clings to it. The scent of trees and forests and long-forgotten summers. And under your fingertips you can feel the ridges and rings of its grain, each line carved by time, each circle remembering a year. You imagine how many times that door has opened and closed, how many seasons it has guarded. And in this moment it feels as though it is guarding you, holding the night outside and keeping you safe within. Across the room, the fire glows. Not wild, not sharp, not rushing upward as flames sometimes do, but low and calm, pulsing like the quiet rhythm of a sleeping heart. Its light ripples over the bricks of the hearth, spilling outward across the wooden floor in long golden shapes that stretch, fade, and then return, as though the fire is breathing. You follow it with your eyes, this slow inhale and exhale of light, and as you do, your own breath begins to match it. You breathe in as the glow expands. You breathe out as it softens, and little by little, the air inside you begins to feel just as steady as the fire before you. The sound of the fire is small, almost secretive, yet once you begin to listen, it seems to fill the whole kitchen. Crack, crackle, pop. Each spark is like a drop of water falling into a pool, a note in a song older than memory. The fire whispers to you, not in words but in feeling. Keep the flame low, keep the body calm. Do not hurry, do not rush. There is no need. Inhale. Warm air enters your chest, spreads into your arms. Exhale. The warmth drifts down into your legs, down to your feet, until you feel anchored, safe, and deeply at rest. Above the fire, on the iron rack, hang the tools of many years. A ladle, darkened, smooth with use. A spoon, long-handled and patient. A pan that once bore the weight of soups and stews and bread. They gleam in patches of firelight, soft crescents sliding across their surfaces like moons rising and setting in the night sky. You imagine the many hands that have touched them, the many meals they have witnessed, and you feel that even the tools are telling you, this place is steady, this place is enduring, this place is home. The table beneath your hand is warm now, the heat carried through the air and into the wood. You press your palm against it and imagine the table itself has a heartbeat, slow and sure. You lean back into your chair, feel the wood against your shoulders, and inhale again. The scent of pine is richer here, mingling with the smoke and with something sweeter, perhaps butter lingering from earlier hours, or sugar once dusted across baked bread. You exhale, and with that breath, the weight across your back loosens. The heaviness behind your eyes grows softer. The muscles in your jaw release their hold. The kettle resting near the fire begins to murmur. Not loud, not sudden, but like a whisper traveling from far away. A rolling sound that belongs more to rivers than to kitchens. It blends into the fire's crackle and the clock's gentle ticking. Water, fire, time. Three voices weaving themselves together into harmony, reminding you again that here there is only patience. Everything here moves slowly. Everything here belongs to rest. You breathe again, deeper now. Inhale. Feel your chest rise, your belly soften. Hold it for a moment, as if the warmth could linger inside. Then exhale. Let it travel out. Let the body sink further into the chair. Let yourself be carried a little closer, toward the border of sleep. Again, inhale. Taste the wood smoke and sweetness in the air. Exhale. Feel your shoulders drop, your arms heavy and loose, your eyelids softened and heavy too. The pine door behind you is closed now, but you no longer think of it as a barrier. It is a guardian, holding the outside world at bay, keeping all noise and weight away. You are protected. You are held. The fire is the heartbeat of the room. The clock is the breath. The kettle is the lullaby. Nothing will hurry you here. Nothing will disturb you. Nothing will reach you except calm. You watch again as the fire throws its golden light onto the walls. The shapes shift and slide, painting slow-moving rivers of brightness across stone and wood. It is as though the room itself is alive, breathing along with you, glowing, dimming, glowing again. The fire keeps its rhythm, and you, without trying, without effort, have already matched it. Inhale with the glow. Exhale with the fade. Inhale with the glow. Exhale with the fade. And now, as the flames move, as the shadows soften, You feel yourself moving with them, drifting, not away from the kitchen, but deeper into it. Deeper into the story that is beginning here. Deeper into the night that is ready to cradle you. Softer, slower, safer than you imagined. The pine door and the gentle fire have welcomed you, and you are ready to follow them further. On the wooden table, before you rests the teapot. White enamel, rounded at the shoulders, faintly shining in the glow of the fire. It is simple, almost plain. Yet there is a quiet elegance in its curves. The kind of elegance that does not need to announce itself. The teapot waits, still and patient. Like an old storyteller who knows that the tale will begin only when you are ready to listen. You lift the lid and hear the faintest ring of metal against porcelain. A tiny chime in the silence. Within, the air carries the dry fragrance of tea leaves, once green, once waving in distant fields. Now darkened and curled, brittle with time, ready to release their essence. You take a small handful, listening as they fall into the pot with a sound like paper, like whispers sliding across each other. It is not much, but in this kitchen, not much is needed. The kettle hums steadily by the fire, and when you pour the hot water, the leaves awaken. They roll, they unfurl, they stretch, and the water deepens in color, from pale gold to amber, to a shade like honey in the late afternoon sun. Steam rises, curling and dissolving in the air. You breathe it in, soft and floral, slightly bitter at the edge, yet soothing, grounding, ancient. Inhale. The scent fills your chest, steadies your pulse. Exhale. The steam carries away what lingers heavy in your mind. Beside the teapot, 2 cups wait. Ivory porcelain, thin but strong. Their rims smooth and cool under your fingertips. You lift one, and the firelight slides across its surface, as though painting a crescent moon upon it. The cup is empty, but in its emptiness lies its invitation, to be filled, to be held, to be raised, to be sipped slowly. Emptiness here is not lack, but readiness. You pour. The liquid flows in a thin stream, striking the bottom of the cup with a sound like distant rain. The color settles, warm and deep, a small pool of comfort. You lift the cup, bring it to your lips, and pause for a moment as the heat touches your hands, warming your palms, your fingers, the back of your wrists. Already, you feel the warmth moving through you before you even taste it. You take a sip. The first drop touches your tongue sharp for an instant, then soft, then spreading like velvet through your throat and chest. Each swallow feels slower than the last, as if time itself is learning how to be still. You breathe in with the cup against your lips. You breathe out with the flavor still lingering, and the tea carries you deeper into calm. Inhale, sweetness. Exhale, peace. On the table lies a small plate of butter biscuits, their surface dusted with sugar, so fine it sparkles under the firelight. You break one in half, the snap quiet but satisfying. And when you place a piece on your tongue, It melts almost at once, soft, buttery, a little sweet, a little salty. The taste is gentle, comforting, and it blends with the warmth of the tea in a way that makes you sigh without realizing. The sigh escapes, a natural exhale, and in that exhale, something inside you relaxes further. Another knot unties, another burden dissolves. The cups sit quietly when set down, holding their warmth as though guarding it for you. Their silence is not emptiness, but companionship, a steady presence at your side. The teapot too, resting now, sends out a soft mist of steam, and you sense that even silence has a voice here. It is the voice of rest. It is the voice of slowness. It is the voice that tells you, you are safe, you are warm, you are exactly where you need to be. You drink again, sip after sip, and with each sip, the eyelids grow heavier. With each sip, your breath grows slower. With each sip, you travel further into stillness. The fire continues its song. The clock continues its patient beat. The teapot continues its soft breathing. Together, they weave a tapestry around you, a cocoon of warmth, in which you are cradled, unhurried, untouched by anything beyond these walls. You place the cup down for the final time, and watch the surface of the tea settle into stillness, a mirror of amber reflecting the golden glow of the fire. It is like a small sun, resting on the table, reminding you that light remains even in the quietest of nights. You breathe in, gently. You breathe out, slowly. You close your eyes for a moment, and you feel the tea within you, the warmth of it, the calm of it, the invitation of it, carrying you deeper still into the story of this kitchen, deeper into the night. On the table, next to the teapot and the cups, lies the notebook. Its cover is worn, softened by years of touch, the color of parchment darkened by time. Around it, tied carefully, is a ribbon, pale blue, slightly frayed at the edges, yet still holding its bow. It waits in silence, and yet, even in its stillness, it seems alive, like a voice paused between words, ready to continue when you are ready to listen. You reach out, fingertips brushing the ribbon. The fabric is cool, and in its texture you feel the weight of many evenings, many hands before yours, tying and untying, opening and closing. You pull gently, and the knot loosens. The ribbon falls across your palm like a stream of water, soft, yielding, and patient. The notebook exhales as you lift its cover, a faint scent rising paper, aged to a golden hue, ink browned by decades, and something else, the quiet smell of memory itself. The first page greets you with handwriting, round, deliberate, steady, each letter carefully shaped, as though the writer knew that words could be as nourishing as bread, and should therefore be handled with equal care. You trace a line with your eyes, and it feels less like reading, and more like hearing a voice. The words are not hurried. They do not rush to impress. They flow gently, like a lullaby written in ink, One line reads, "Do not let the fire grow higher than what is needed." Another, "Do not fill the spoon more than the hand can carry." And another, "Do not let words outrun the rhythm of your breath." Each instruction, though written for the kitchen, feels as though it is written for life. You pause after each, letting it sink in. Inhale, you take the words in. Exhale, you let them settle deep inside, where they can rest, like seeds waiting to grow. You turn the page. The paper whispers as it moves, the faintest rustle, like leaves stirred by the gentlest wind. A recipe appears, titled simply, "Celery Soup, Slow Cooked." You read, "Onions sliced thin as rain, butter melted until golden, broth simmered until it hums." Each step is written not as a command, but as a suggestion, a rhythm. At the corner of the page, in smaller writing, a note: "Stir clockwise when the mind is unsettled. Stir counterclockwise when the heart is calm." You smile faintly, imagining yourself with spoon in hand, turning the liquid in one direction, then another, until both mind and heart are soothed into balance. Another page, another recipe. Cake for a rainy day. Flour sifted 3 times, butter softened until it yields, sugar rubbed with lemon peel to release fragrance, and again, in the margin, a soft reminder: if the sky rains, let the cake bake longer. If the heart rains, let the voice fall softer. You pause, closing your eyes for a moment, hearing the rain outside faintly tapping the roof, and realize that both the cake and your own spirit are being given permission to rest a little longer. You close the notebook lightly, leaving a finger between its pages, as though to keep your place. The ribbon lies beside it now, relaxed, unknotted, free. The fire continues its slow rhythm, the clock continues its patient count, and the notebook, though silent once more, still seems to speak. It says, "You do not need to hurry. You do not need to achieve. You do not need to strive. Tonight, it is enough to sit, to read, to breathe." You inhale again, feeling the words you have read become part of your breath. You exhale, letting them sink deeper, planting themselves like herbs in a quiet garden. The notebook rests, but its presence remains a quiet teacher, a silent companion, a gentle guide. And with it beside you, you feel yourself drifting further, further, into the story of this kitchen, into the safety of the night. Beside the hearth stands a tall cupboard, its wooden doors closed, but fragrant even from here. You rise slowly, almost floating, and when you place your hand upon the handle, the wood is smooth and cool, polished by time. You open it, and at once the air changes. A wave of aromas greets you, layered and intricate, a chorus of spices waiting patiently in their glass jars. There is cinnamon, warm and sweet, its scent like the embrace of a blanket pulled close on a cold morning. There is nutmeg, deep and earthy, rich like the soil after rain. There are cloves, sharp yet comforting, dark little buds, holding the memory of winter evenings and quiet celebrations. Jars of star anise, shaped like tiny stars, fennel seeds, with their faint echo of licorice. Dried vanilla pods, curled and dark, still carrying a sweetness that whispers of cakes and custards long past. You lift a jar, twist it open, and breathe. Cinnamon first. The fragrance flows into you, golden and familiar, and with it comes a feeling of warmth spreading through your chest. Inhale, the spice rises. Exhale, the body loosens. You close the jar gently, place it back, and open another. Nutmeg, now, round and mellow. You breathe again, and this time the comfort feels heavier, grounding, as though each breath presses you deeper into the chair, deeper into rest. Inhale, strength. Exhale, release. Every jar has its voice, every spice a memory. Together, they are not just ingredients, but reminders that small things, when gathered and cared for, can fill a room with richness. You close the cupboard softly, and the scents linger in the air, weaving into the smoke from the fire, weaving into the warmth of the kitchen, weaving into you. Through a narrow door at the back of the kitchen, a garden waits. You step outside, and the night air greets you, cooler, fresher, carrying the silver touch of moonlight. Herbs grow in neat rows, their leaves shimmering with beads of dew. Thyme lies low, spreading gently across the earth, its fragrance sharp yet clean. Rosemary stands tall, green spears reaching upward like tiny trees, bold and strong. Mint glimmers with droplets, bright and playful, a coolness even in its stillness. The wind moves softly, brushing across the herbs, and a chime of metal rings in the brizza. Wind chime Mrs. Beeton once hung to keep the garden company. The sound is gentle, high and sweet, each note falling like a drop of water into a calm pool. You stand among the herbs, listening, breathing, and in each breath, the garden seems to step closer to you. You reach down, fingers brushing thyme, then rosemary, then mint. You pick a sprig of each, their leaves cool against your skin. You bring them to your nose, breathe deeply, and their scents mix together. Sharp, strong, cool, like three voices singing softly in harmony. Inhale, let them fill you. Exhale, let them drift away into the night. You walk back into the kitchen, carrying the herbs. On the counter, you place them, take a knife, and begin to chop. The blade touches the wood, steady and slow. Tap, tap, tap. Each sound falls into rhythm with the fire, the clock, the chimes still echoing faintly from outside. You chop slowly, deliberately, and each downward motion feels like a thought being set aside, a burden being sliced smaller, easier to carry, until nothing heavy remains. The herbs rest now in a small porcelain bowl. Their green fragrance rises, fresh yet calming, and the kitchen absorbs it. You breathe in once more, and it feels as though the whole room is a garden now. The air a blanket woven of leaves and light. You sit again, the bowl before you. the fire beside you, the notebook still near. And you know, without needing to say it, that the spices, the herbs, the fire, the claw call, are keeping you here, safe, steady, and gently guiding you deeper, deeper into the night. On the hearth rests a heavy pot of iron, blackened by years of gentle flame. You lift it carefully, place it at the center of the fire, and let the heat begin its patient work. A pat of butter slips into the pot, melting slowly, spreading into a pool of gold. It shimmers, bubbles, sighs. You slice onions thin as silk, and when they fall into the butter, they sigh too, soft and sweet, turning translucent as if surrendering themselves to warmth. Carrots follow, diced into small pieces, bright orange jewels tumbling into the golden pool. Then celery, pale green, crisp, carrying its clean and sharp fragrance. Potatoes, cubed and steady, drop in last, heavy, grounding. Together, they form a gathering, each voice blending, no ingredient louder than another, no note sharper than it needs to be. You stir gently with a wooden spoon, round and round, clockwise, each circle carving calm into the broth. The sound is low, soft, the spoon sliding, the vegetables shifting, the pot murmuring in reply. You remember the words from the notebook. Stir clockwise when the mind is unsettled, counterclockwise when the heart is calm. And so you stir clockwise now, letting the slow spirals carry away every unsettled thought, smoothing them, dissolving them into the broth. You pour in water, clear and cool, and the pot sighs again. The liquid rises, surrounds the vegetables, and begins to hum as the fire kisses the iron. Small bubbles appear, rising lazily to the surface, breaking with quiet pops, each one like a tiny breath released. The kitchen fills with fragrant onions, softening, carrots sweetening, butter weaving through every note. It is not just soup. It is comfort. It is patience. It is rest turned into flavor. Outside, the first drop of rain touches the roof. Then another, and another. Soon the steady patter begins, light but sure, as if the sky itself has joined the rhythm of the kitchen. The rain taps against the tiles, against the window pane, against the herbs in the garden. It is not hurried rain, not storm, not roar. It is gentle, delicate, as though the night is drumming a lullaby just for you. The rain and the fire converse, their voices entwined. Crackle, pop, hiss from the fire. Tap, pat, drip from the rain. Together they weave a duet, one of warmth, one of coolness, both steady, both endless. The clock keeps time for them, tick-tock, tick-tock, patient and eternal. You sit and listen, spoon still in your hand, and realize you are no longer stirring only the pot, you are stirring the night itself, blending fire and water, blending warmth and rain, blending outside and inside into one seamless whole. You ladle a bowl of the soup. Steam rises, fragrant and rich. You blow gently across the surface, and the steam curls away like a cloud moving across the sky. You taste. The broth is smooth, soft, warming every corner of your mouth, flowing down into your chest, spreading comfort like a blanket unfolding. Each sip is a breath. Inhale, the warmth enters. Exhale, the body softens. Another sip, another breath. Another step deeper into quiet. The bowl empties slowly, not because you rush, but because you linger. Each spoonful stretches time a little longer, until minutes feel like hours, hours feel like dreams. You set the bowl down at last, and it feels as though something has been completed, not just the soup, but the ritual of surrender, the gentle offering of nourishment to both body and soul. The rain continues above, steady, tireless. The fire continues beside you, glowing, whispering. The clock continues its patient song. And within you, the warmth of the soup continues too. A quiet hearth lit inside your chest, guiding you further inward, further downward, into rest, into stillness, into the unfolding dream of the night. The soup has been finished, the bowl resting quietly on the table, its steam fading into the air like a sigh. The room holds a deeper stillness now, the kind of stillness that comes not from emptiness but from satisfaction. You look across the table, and it feels as though it has been waiting for this moment. The moment when the day is finally laid down, and only the gentle company of night remains. The tablecloth is simple, patterned in soft squares of pale color, worn smooth by years of washing and folding. Upon it sits a plate with slices of buttered bread, a small dish of cheese, and a cluster of grapes glowing faintly in the firelight. Nothing extravagant, nothing hurried, just a supper meant not for hunger, but for comfort, for the ritual of being present at the quietest hour. You reach for a piece of bread, its crust crisp, its center soft, and when you bite into it, the taste is both plain and perfect, like the honesty of the kitchen itself. A piece of cheese follows, mellow and creamy, dissolving easily on the tongue. Then, a grape, cool and sweet, bursting softly, leaving behind a trace of juice that lingers like a memory. You eat slowly, not because of thought, but because there is no reason to hurry. Every bite is a pause. Every swallow is an exhale. And then, your ears find it again, the voice of the kitchen clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Its sound has been there all along, steady beneath the fire and the rain. But now it grows clearer, as though it has stepped closer. Each tick is a step downward. Each talk is a step deeper. The sound is not urgent. It does not call for attention. Instead, it invites you, gently, persistently, to let go, to sink further into its rhythm. You rest your elbows lightly on the table, cradle your chin in your hands, and let your gaze blur. The grapes on the plate, the cloth on the wood, the faint shimmer of steam from the teapot of it softens at the edges, drifting slightly, like images in a dream. The clock continues, faithful as breath. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Inhale with the tick, exhale with the tock. Again and again and again. On a high shelf rests a tin box. Its paint faded, its edges dented, but still strong. You take it down, open the lid, and inside are recipe cards, thin slips of paper written by hand. Some neat, some hurried, all touched by care. You lift one, apple tart for autumn. Another, bread pudding with milk. Another, butter biscuits for children. Each card carries not only instructions, but small notes scribbled in the margins. Add sugar slowly if the day is heavy. Stir longer if the rain is loud. Whisper a song while kneading. The instructions feel less like rules and more like blessings. You place the cards back, gently, and the tin box clicks shut with a sound soft as a lullaby's last note. The table is set, the meal is small, the night is long, and the clock continues its patient keeping. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Each sound a doorway, each sound a descent. You breathe again, deeper now, slower now. Inhale, the fragrance of wood and grapes. Exhale, the fading weight of the day. You feel your body yield to gravity. Your thoughts scatter like crumbs across the tablecloth. Your eyelids heavier than before. The supper is nearly finished. The table is nearly cleared. The hour is nearly past. And still the clock goes on, not rushing, not pushing, only guiding, step by step, tick by tick, into the deeper silence waiting just beyond. On the counter, waiting like an open canvas, rests a wide wooden bowl. Its surface has been smoothed by countless hands, countless evenings, countless recipes now folded into its grain. You place it before you, and it feels like an invitation, as if the bowl itself is saying, "Give me what you carry, and I will transform it into something whole." You lift the sack of flour, heavy yet soft, and pour it through a sieve. The flour drifts downward like falling snow, a white mist filling the air, slow and graceful, dissolving into the bowl below. Each grain, so tiny, invisible almost, yet together they form a mound, a mountain of softness. You run your fingers through it, and it feels like silk, like cool sand, slipping away and returning all at once. The scent is faint, pure, the smell of beginnings, the smell of blank pages before the ink arrives. In a smaller cup, you crumble the yeast tiny flecks, golden brown, brittle in your fingers. You pour in warm water and a single spoon of sugar. You stir. Slowly, silently, the yeast awakens. At first, nothing. Then, tiny bubbles appear, shy and uncertain. Then, more and more. A soft fizz rises, so quiet you might almost miss it. But if you lean close, you hear it, the faint breath of something alive. You smile, because this is life at its simplest. A living rhythm, invisible yet certain, waiting to rise. You pour the mixture into the bowl of flour. The water sinks into the whiteness, darkening it, pulling it together. A pinch of salt follows, sharp and grounding. A pat of butter, softened until your fingertip leaves a dent, slides in like sunlight melting on stone. A thread of honey drizzles last, golden and sweet, trailing across the surface like a ribbon of liquid amber. For a moment, the ingredients are separate, distinct, each holding their own voice. And then, under your hands, they begin to merge. At first, the dough resists, sticky, uneven, clinging. But your hands are patient. You fold the flour over the liquid, press, turn, fold again. Slowly, the chaos becomes order. Slowly, the separate becomes whole. You push forward with the heel of your palm. You fold back with your fingers. Push, fold, turn, push, fold, turn. A rhythm begins, steady and sure. The dough beneath your hands changes, growing stronger, smoother, more alive. The fire crackles nearby. The rain taps on the roof. The clock ticks in the corner. Together, they form the orchestra, and your kneading is the dance. Push, fold, turn. Inhale as you press forward. Exhale as you fold back. Inhale, the scent of flour and yeast rising. Exhale, the weight of the day falling away. Again, and again, and again, until the motion itself becomes a lullaby, rocking you as much as it rocks the dough. Soon, the dough is no longer sticky, no longer uneven. It is supple, elastic, smooth like skin warmed by the sun. You lift it, heavy yet soft, and place it back into the bowl. You cover it with a clean cloth. The fabric settles across it like a blanket laid over a sleeping child. And then you wait. This is the secret of bread, the waiting. Nothing more to add, nothing more to do. The yeast will breathe, the dough will grow. Time will weave its magic, quietly, invisibly. You sit, and together with the dough, you rest. The fire glows steadily. The rain continues its lullaby on the roof. The clock ticks onward, patient and faithful. Beneath the cloth, the dough rises, slowly, softly, expanding with each invisible breath. You imagine it lifting, stretching, swelling, as though the bowl is a cradle, and the dough is dreaming inside it. You close your eyes for a moment, and you feel the dough's rhythm become your rhythm. You inhale, and imagine the yeast drawing in air. You exhale, and imagine the dough settling deeper into its rest. Both of you breathing together, both of you rising in silence. When you lift the cloth at last, the dough has doubled in size. It is round, full, a quiet miracle. You press a finger into its surface, and the mark remains, soft and tender, like the memory of touch left on a pillow. The dough does not resist. It yields, gentle and forgiving. You press the air from it, fold it gently, shape it into a loaf. Your hands tuck the edges under, smoothing it into form, giving it the promise of what it will become. You place it into a pan, cover it again, and let it rest once more. Always resting, always rising, never rushed, never hurried. And as the dough rests, so do you. You lean back, hands folded, eyes half closed. You realize that the bread is teaching you that patience is not emptiness, but fullness waiting to be revealed. That stillness is not absence, but quiet growth. That rest is not the end of effort, but the beginning of transformation. The bread is not ready yet, neither are you. But in the waiting, in the rising, you both are becoming something more. Something softer, something stronger, something whole. The fire hums, the rain whispers, the clock counts, the dough breathes. And you, sitting there, find yourself breathing with it, drifting deeper into calm, deeper into the rhythm of the kitchen, deeper into the story of the night. The bread rests quietly beneath its cloth, swelling slowly with invisible breath. And you rise from the chair, letting your hands trail across the edge of the table as you move toward the kitchen drawers. They wait for you, silent and closed, yet holding within them the secret order of the kitchen. You pull one open, and it glides with a soft wooden sigh, as though exhaling after holding its breath for too long. Inside lies a small universe of tools, familiar and ordinary, yet each with its own quiet story. There are spoons of every size, their metal worn smooth where countless fingers once gripped them. Forks with prongs slightly bent, yet still eager to serve. Knives dulled at the edge but faithful in their shape. Measuring spoons, nested together like a family huddled close. Wooden spatulas, darkened by years of oil and flame. All of them waiting, resting, yet ready. You run your hand lightly over them, and the sensation is cool, textured, varied. The clink of metal, the soft tap of wood, the faint scrape of porcelain from a stray measuring cup. These sounds are tiny, but they feel large in the silence of the kitchen, filling it with a kind of music that no one but you will ever hear. One by one, you begin to set things in place. The spoons are aligned by size, the forks laid beside each other in quiet rows. The knives you gather, wipe gently, and place in their proper slot. The measuring spoons you nest back together, smallest to largest, their curves fitting into one another as naturally as breath follows breath. As you arrange them, something inside you begins to arrange itself as well. Thoughts that had been scattered grow calmer. Worries that had been loud grow softer. The act of order in the drawer becomes order in the mind. You find a spool of twine, wound tightly, and tuck it neatly into a corner. A small scrap of parchment, folded from long ago, you set aside carefully, promising to return to it later. Even the crumbs of flour that have settled at the bottom of the drawer, you brush gently away with your fingertips, leaving the wood smooth and bare. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. Every motion deliberate, slow, steady. The drawer closes softly, and in the silence that follows, the whole kitchen seems to sigh with you. You open another. This one holds linens, folded and stacked, towels faded from bright white to cream, napkins with frayed edges, cloths soft from years of washing. You unfold one, smooth it across your lap, and the fabric smells faintly of soap and sun. Even though night now presses against the window, you fold it back carefully, aligning the edges, placing it atop the others. In that folding, in that alignment, you feel yourself folding, aligning, settling. You sit quietly for a moment, the drawers around you closed, the tools and linens resting in their proper places, and you realize that you, too, are finding your proper place. The fire still hums, the rain still whispers, the clock still ticks, the bread still rises. Each is doing what it was meant to do. Each is where it belongs. You breathe in slowly, feeling the order around you seep into your lungs. You breathe out gently, feeling the order settle deeper into your chest. Inhale, peace enters. Exhale, peace remains. You place your hand on the drawer handle once more, not to open it, but simply to feel the smooth wood, the certainty of it. The drawer does not need to be opened again. It is already at rest, and so are you. The ritual is complete. The kitchen is in order, and in that order lies comfort, safety, and the slow invitation to drift further, deeper, softer, into the night. The kitchen has grown quieter, softer, as though every sound has folded itself inward. The rain has thinned to a gentle dripping at the eaves, and the fire has lowered into a bed of glowing embers, breathing slow orange light into the room. It is then you notice the window, and the pale wash of moonlight that has begun to spill across the table. The moonlight does not rush. It drifts, slow and patient, pouring itself over the wood until the surface gleams faintly, a ribbon of silver flowing across the grain. The table, once golden under the fire, is now a mirror of the night sky, a quiet river of light carrying you further along this journey. You place your hand upon it, and the wood feels cooler, steadier, as though it has taken the breath of the moon into itself. Beside your hand lies the blue ribbon notebook, still waiting. You open it once more, the ribbon slipping down like a pale stream onto the table. The pages breathe their soft fragrance of paper and ink, and you find yourself at the back, where fewer recipes remain, where only the marginal notes whisper. The handwriting is smaller here, lighter, as though written at the end of long nights, when the world was already half asleep. The words are simple, quiet reminders to anyone who would listen. If you lose your way, begin again with water and flour. Another, add cinnamon to sorrow. It softens the edges. Another, still, almost hidden in the corner. Silence is an ingredient too. You trace each note with your eyes, slowly, as if tasting them. Each one lingers. Each one settles. You inhale, drawing in the wisdom behind the ink. You exhale, allowing it to drift deeper, planting itself in the soil of your mind. These are not recipes for meals, you realize. They are recipes for living, for waiting, for resting. The moonlight grows brighter on the table, as though it wants to illuminate the words more clearly. You notice how the ink glimmers faintly under the pale glow, the way rivers sometimes catch the reflection of stars. The pages seem alive in the moonlight, breathing with you, opening themselves like a door into something larger, quieter, deeper. You close the notebook softly. The ribbon rests across it again, but not tied, simply lying like a sigh. The fire gives one last crackle, the rain one last patter, and then all sounds seem to fall back into silence. Only the clock continues, its tick and tock now blending so perfectly with your breath that you hardly notice it as something outside you. It is inside. It is you. You sit with the notebook in the moonlight, and it feels like sitting with an old friend at the very edge of sleep. No words are needed now. No instructions. No recipes. Only presence. Only light. Only the rhythm of a heart that has slowed, a mind that has softened, a body that has learned to rest. The moonlight spreads further, reaching across the bread beneath its cloth, across the cups on the table, across your own hands resting there. It gathers everything into one calm picture, one still life, one single moment that seems to stretch endlessly. And within that moment, you realize there is nothing more to seek. The night is whole. The story is whole. You are whole. Inhale, and the moonlight enters. Exhale, and you melt into it. Inhale, and you hold the silver glow. Exhale, and you release yourself into its arms, again and again, until the line between the kitchen, the notebook, the moon, and you dissolves completely, and all that remains is stillness. The moonlight still rests across the table, silver and patient, when your eyes return to the teapot. Its enamel glows faintly, a soft shell of white in the dimness, as if it too has been waiting for this moment. The earlier tea has cooled, its fragrance softened into the room, but now it is time for the nightly brew. The tea meant only for the late hour, the tea that knows how to quiet even the last restless thought. You lift the lid and place inside a handful of dried blossoms. Chamomile, pale and fragile, their petals curled but still carrying the warmth of summer fields. A sprig of mint, green and cool, releasing a brightness even in its dry form. A few leaves of lemon balm, gentle and faint, like the memory of citrus carried on a breeze. Together, they fall into the pot with a whisper, waiting for water to awaken them. The kettle murmurs again from the fire, a low hum that grows into a soft sigh. You pour, and the water embraces the herbs. They bloom, they unfurl, they stretch as though waking from sleep. And the water turns golden, then deeper, until the whole pot glows with its own inner light. Steam rises, slow and curling, carrying with it a fragrance that is both sweet and clean, earthy and airy, grounding and lifting all at once. You sit and pour a cup. The liquid glides in a thin stream, striking porcelain with the softest note, filling the cup with warmth. You wrap your hands around it, and the heat seeps into your palms, your wrists, your veins, spreading like sunlight sinking through branches. You lift it, sip carefully, and the flavor greets you like an old friend. First, a brightness from the mint, then the soft earth of chamomile, then the faintest whisper of lemon balm at the edge of your tongue. Each note lingers just long enough to ease something in you, then fades to make room for the next. You drink slowly, and with every sip, your breath grows steadier. Inhale, the warmth fills you. Exhale, the day falls further away. Again and again, until the tea is not only in your cup, but in your chest, in your shoulders, in your limbs. The tea has become part of you, and you have become part of the night. And then, as if carried by the steam itself, you hear it a whisper. Not from the clock, not from the fire, not from the rain, but from somewhere softer, deeper, closer. The whisper says, "Do not hurry, just that. Nothing more. Do not hurry." The words settle inside you like a seed falling gently into soil. You repeat them silently. Do not hurry. The clock ticks, but you do not hurry. The fire breathes, but you do not hurry. The rain drips, but you do not hurry. The bread rises, but you do not hurry. Everything has its own time. Everything will arrive when it is ready. You close your eyes, cup still warm between your hands, and let the whisper echo inside you. Do not hurry. Your chest rises with an inhale. Do not hurry. Your chest falls with an exhale. Each breath carries the words deeper, engraving them into your body, until even your heartbeat seems to echo them in its quiet rhythm. The tea cools slowly, and when at last you finish it, the cup rests empty before you. But the emptiness is not absence. It is fullness fulfilled. The whisper still lingers in the air, circling like steam that never fades. The kitchen is silent now, but it is not an empty silence. It is a silence alive with the presence of every breath, every flame, every drop of rain, every heartbeat, each repeating the same truth. Do not hurry. You lean back, your eyes heavy, your body loose, your mind soft. The cup is empty, the fire dim, the rain light, the clock slow, the bread quiet, the moon steady. All is in place. All is enough. And you, too, are enough. Ready, not for doing, but for resting. Ready, not for rushing, but for surrendering. Ready, not for more, but for sleep. The tea has finished. The whisper, "Do not hurry," still echoing faintly in the room, when your eyes drift toward the hearth. The fire is no longer fierce, no longer crackling. It has quieted into a soft red glow, a landscape of embers breathing slowly in the cradle of the stove. They shine like tiny constellations, scattered stars fallen into the ash, pulsing with their own secret rhythm. You rise and take the long iron tongs, their handles cool in your hands. With slow movements, you gather the embers into a single cluster. Each piece shifts with a faint sound, crack, crumble, hush, and when they come together, their light grows stronger for a moment, brighter, before softening again into one shared warmth. It feels like a lesson, whispered through the glow, that even the smallest sparks, when gathered, can illuminate the dark. You watch them for a while. Their light rises, then falls, like breath. Inhale, they brighten. Exhale, they fade. You match them without effort, breathing with the embers, until your chest feels as steady and timeless as the coals themselves. They do not rush to burn out. They do not strain to stay alive. They only glow in the rhythm given to them. And so do you. When at last their light has softened into its final rest, you take a damp cloth and move toward the stove. The metal is warm under your hand as you begin to wipe slow circles across the surface. The cloth glides, soot, hush, soot, hush, with each motion, and the stove responds like a body relaxing under a gentle touch. You wipe one circle, and it feels as though you are erasing the day. Another circle, and it feels as though you are smoothing the edges of time itself. The stove cools as you wipe, but the warmth does not leave you. It lingers in your palms, in your arms, in the center of your chest. The scent of ash rises faintly, mingling with the sweetness of herbs and the softness of bread still resting beneath its cloth. The fragrance is neither sharp nor heavy. It is the perfume of endings, gentle and natural, reminding you that to close is not to lose, but to complete. You hang the cloth neatly on its hook, its dampness glistening in the dim light. You set the tongs back in their place, aligned and still. And in that moment, the kitchen feels as though it has exhaled one long sigh of relief. The day has been folded away. The fire has been put to rest. The stove has been blessed with care. You sit once more, and notice the quiet is deeper now. The clock still ticks, but softer. The rain still drips, but slower. Even the moonlight seems calmer, stretched across the table like a pale hand resting over everything. The embers fade within the stove, but in your chest, the glow remains, steady, humming, carrying you gently toward the final passages of night. And as you breathe, inhale with the memory of warmth, exhale with the gift of stillness, you understand the truth of the ritual, that closing the fire is not about ending, but about preparing the room, preparing the body, preparing the heart, preparing for the deepest sleep, the kind of sleep that heals, the kind of sleep that holds you as gently as a kitchen at rest. The stove is quiet now, its embers folded into silence, its surface wiped clean and shining faintly in the dim glow. The kitchen seems to hold its breath, as though listening to something beyond itself, something waiting at the edge of night. You rise slowly, as though moving through water, and drift toward the window. The glass is clouded with condensation, a soft film drawn by the meeting of warmth within and coolness without. You place your palm against it, and for a moment the surface is cool, almost icy. But then, slowly, the warmth of your skin seeps into it, leaving behind a faint circle of clarity. Through that circle, the outside world reveals itself, blurred, softened, painted in shades of silver. The garden lies still beneath the moonlight, herbs resting beneath their blanket of dew. Leaves glisten, tiny beads of water gathering at their edges, trembling as though holding their breath. The stones of the path shimmer faintly, washed in silver, while the fence beyond melts into shadow. It is neither night nor morning, it is the in-between, the hushed hour when time itself seems uncertain, when the world is paused between endings and beginnings. You breathe onto the glass, and your breath fogs it again, erasing the small circle, replacing clarity with mist. You watch it spread, then fade, then return to transparency. Each breath you give is mirrored by the window, as though it too inhales and exhales with you. You place your forehead lightly against it, and the coolness soothes you, soft as a hand pressing gently upon your brow. Then, faintly, so faintly you almost wonder if it is imagination, you hear it, the distant call of a bird. A single note, stretched across the silence, fragile and small. You wait, and it comes again, then another, from further away. The voices of dawn have not yet arrived in full chorus, but the first messengers have begun to stir, lifting their voices into the dim silver air. The sound does not disturb the night, it folds into it. Each call is like a thread of silk weaving into the quiet fabric of the dark. One note here, a pause, another note there, a longer pause. They do not rush, they do not fill the air all at once. They arrive slowly, gently, carefully, as though they too know the secret. Do not hurry. You stand at the window, listening. The condensation slowly clears as the air shifts, as if even the glass has begun to wake. The birds call again, a little louder now, though still distant, still softened by the veil of night. Their voices blend with the last drops of rain slipping from the roof, drip, 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 merging water with song, night with morning, silence with sound. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you are no longer in the kitchen, no longer at the window. You are drifting, suspended between night and day, wrapped in the breath of condensation, the hush of dew, the echo of birdsong. Everything is blurred, softened, weightless. There is no edge, no boundary, only a vast in-between. When you open your eyes, the glass has gathered a new sheen of moisture, and you trace your finger slowly through it, drawing a single line. The droplet trails downward, following your mark, then joins others to form a bead of water that slides gracefully down to the sill. It is a small act, but it feels like releasing something, like letting go. You step back from the window. The condensation remains. The moonlight still lingers. The first birds still call in the distance. But the room itself feels changed, as though it, too, has taken one step closer to morning, one step closer to the inevitable arrival of dawn. And you, standing in the middle of the kitchen, feel the same shift within you, a movement, not forward, not rushed, but a gentle leaning toward the light that will come. Not yet, not now, but soon. The condensation on the window slowly fades as the fire sinks deeper into silence. You step back from the glass, and the kitchen greets you once more with its calm, steady breath. The night is nearly complete, yet something within you knows there is one last ritual to tend to, a quiet preparing, not for tonight, but for tomorrow. You turn to the table. It waits, bare and open, the moonlight stretching across its surface like a soft cloth already laid in silver. You move slowly, gathering what is needed. Not much, just enough. A plate is set at the center, round and plain, its edges chipped slightly with age, but strong, dependable, as though it has seen more mornings than you can count. On it, you place a single slice of bread from the loaf still resting beneath its cloth. The bread is cool now, but fragrant still, carrying the memory of warmth. Beside it, you place a small dish of butter, pale and smooth, glistening faintly under the glow. A knife rests across it, blade dull from use, but still gleaming where light touches. You add 1 cup, clean and waiting, its porcelain surface reflecting the moon like a tiny mirror. And next to it, a spoon, polished, resting gently upon a folded napkin. Simple things, modest things, yet together they form a promise that when morning comes, there will be welcome, there will be nourishment, there will be ease. You move with care, as though each placement is a blessing. The bread is not just bread, it is reassurance. The butter is not just butter, it is comfort. The cup is not just a vessel, it is anticipation. The spoon is not just a tool, it is readiness. Each item you set upon the table is more than itself. It is a gesture to tomorrow, a quiet gift waiting to be received. When everything is in place, you step back and let your eyes rest on the scene. The table, now dressed in its small arrangement, looks complete. It is not a feast. It is not a celebration. It is something gentler, more intimate, a preparation. And in that preparation lies peace. For when tomorrow arrives, the work will already be half done. The day will already have begun with kindness. You draw the chair closer, aligning it with the table, and the sound of its legs against the floor is soft, grounding, final. You smooth the napkin with your hand, flattening the folds, and the fabric feels cool, crisp, ready. You pour a little fresh water into the cup. Not tea, not yet, just water. It glistens faintly, holding the reflection of the flame's last glow and the moon's pale hand. And then, for a moment, You simply stand there, watching. The table is ready. The kitchen is ready. Tomorrow is already gently waiting in the room, wrapped not in urgency but in stillness. You inhale, and it feels like breathing in possibility. You exhale, and it feels like laying down every last burden of today. The small promises of morning are here now, embedded in bread and butter, in cup and spoon. In the order you have given to the night. They ask nothing of you. They demand no effort. They simply wait, like the dawn itself, to arrive in their own time. You touch the edge of the table lightly. A farewell for now, and you understand. Tonight has been completed. Tomorrow has been prepared. And between the two lies this perfect stillness, the bridge on which you now stand. The bridge that leads directly, gently, into sleep. The kitchen is ready. The table is set. The bread rests beneath its cloth. The stove sleeps beneath its silence. The window breathes with condensation. The clock continues its patient ticking. Everything has taken its place. Everything has settled into stillness. And all that remains is the closing of the night. You lower yourself into the chair once more. The wood welcomes you with a quiet creak, and your body sinks heavily, gratefully, as though it has found the place it was always meant to rest. The air is cool now, yet gentle. The moonlight lies across the table like a soft hand stretched out in comfort. The fire no longer crackles, but its memory glows faintly in the room, like warmth held within a dream. Your gaze drifts to the blue ribbon notebook, closed, quiet, waiting. You do not open it this time. You simply rest your hand upon its cover, and in that touch you feel everything it has given, the recipes, the notes, the reminders, the whispers. And from that stillness, you sense another presence, softer than smoke, lighter than steam, older than ink. A presence that has been here all along. Mrs. Beeton herself, not in body, but in spirit, woven into the walls, into the wood, into the words. You do not hear her voice with your ears, but with something quieter, deeper. It arrives like breath at the edge of sleep. It says, "Good night." Just that, at first, then again, slower, "Good night." And then, more fully, as though spoken into the marrow of your being. Keep the fire low, and the heart will rest. Keep the table simple, and the soul will be fed. Keep the pace gentle, and the night will carry you. Good night, dear one. Good night. The words do not echo. They do not fade. They settle, layer by layer, into your chest, into your shoulders, into your hands, until you feel them not as sound, but as warmth. They are a blessing, a lullaby, a promise, and in their presence, everything within you begins to release. Your breath deepens, heavy now, steady now. Inhale, and the blessing fills you. Exhale, and you surrender to it. Inhale, and the weight of the world lifts away. Exhale, and the quiet takes its place. Again and again, each breath slower, each breath softer, each breath carrying you further. The clock continues, but you no longer follow its ticks. The rain has stopped, but you no longer wait for its rhythm. The moonlight remains, but your eyes are too heavy to see it. Everything is still here, but you are already drifting beyond it, carried by the blessing, held by the silence. And as your eyes finally close, the kitchen folds itself around you like a great, gentle hand. The notebook rests. The bread breathes. The cup waits. The night completes itself. And in that completeness, in that stillness, you fall, softly and fully, into sleep. Good night, good night, good night. The kitchen is quiet now. The table waits. The night holds you. Breathe once more. Inhale, soft as a lullaby. Exhale, slow as the tide. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to keep. Only sleep. Good night, dear one. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep